Welcome to Pioneers in Payments, where payments experts share their insights. Now, here's our host, Donna Blum.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Pioneers in Payments. Today, I have the great pleasure of speaking with Cesile Johnson from Core Bank. Welcome, Cesile.
Thank you for having me, Donna.
Cesile, before we get started, would you mind sharing a little bit with our audience about your background in the payments industry and the work that you do at Core Bank?
Absolutely. Again, Donna, thank you for having me. And my name is Cesile Johnson, and I serve as head of technology at Core Bank. My career has spanned technology, data, AI, and digital banking, with a strong focus on using process and progress in areas to improve customer experiences and strengthen financial ecosystems. In payments specifically, I've had the opportunity to work on both the infrastructure side, building secure, scalable platforms, and the customer facing side, developing products that make financial services more intuitive and accessible. I believe that combination has given me the depth of appreciation for both the technical and the underpinnings of the payments, and the human experiences that ultimately they support. Specifically at Core Bank, I lead our technology and strategy transformation roadmap that includes data and AI enablement, payments modernization, API-driven integrations, and cybersecurity. So my true focus is to ensure we're not only keeping pace with the industry, but also shaping in a way that empowers both our clients and our partners to grow confidently.
I love that. So it's really where technology meets the customer experience, right? So very important. Um, well, that's wonderful. So we're here really to talk about all that's happening in the payments industry, and perhaps, because you're in the technology space, it's going to have more of a technology flavor, and that's excellent because we're in that space as well. But my first question for you is, what would you say is the most notable trend in the payments industry today?
It's a great question. So, I believe the most notable trend is the convergence of real time payments and embedded finance. On one side, we're finally seeing real time payments reach the scale in the US, which has lagged in other regions. On the other, businesses and consumers are increasingly expected to see payments be instant, seamless, and even invisible in their day to day experiences. So, for example, whether you're paying a supplier, transferring wages, or checking out online, people don't just want to think about the payment rails. They just want quick, secure, and in context. So where I feel as though fintechs and banks are responding by they're embedding financial services directly into the platforms and ecosystems customers already use. So whether that's accounting software, e-commerce platforms, or even gig companies like or apps such as like Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Instacart, startups such as Upwell. This trend is reshaping not only how technology stacks of payments, but also businesses, how they model behind them. So, really, banks and fintechs that embrace this shift will become enablers of ecosystems rather than just service providers today.
Yeah, that's great. And I think it's so important, right? I mean, you need to be relevant in the industry and really help your clients to do business in a way that's convenient and efficient. And yeah, they don't really care if they're looking for an instant payment. They don't care if it's RTP or the clearinghouse. They just want to know that they are making their payment, maybe holding on to their money until the very last moment, right? Before
Absolutely.
they make that payment. So
Absolutely.
yeah, that's great. So I love to talk about my guests' kind of perspective on what the greatest opportunities and challenges are for organizations that process payments. What would you say is the greatest opportunity today for organizations processing payments?
So I think the biggest opportunity is really around unlocking the intelligence within the payments, and that can be done through AI, data, etc. So I always look at saying like payments are no longer just transactions; they're really rich signals about customer behaviors. how the business is performing, and then what are the market trends today that we're seeing. So, like if you aggregate data responsibly, you can identify cash flow risks for small businesses. You can also look at spending behaviors that predict churn, because we all do want to keep our customers intact. Also, lending opportunities that might otherwise be invisible, that, we have opportunities to cross sell, and not only cross serve our customers, but also just applying AI to detect these anomalies and to prevent fraud is really important, especially in real time. I believe that organizations that really shift from simply moving money to turning data into insights, they're going to drive decision making. That's not only going to improve our operations, but it's also going to create new revenue streams, better risk visibility, which is very key in the banking and financial industry, and also those customer relationships that really are the heart of any operation.
I could not agree with you more. I mean, data is so powerful, right? But with AI, now we are really able to leverage that data in ways that were not possible before. And so, and I love that you were talking about sort of the opportunity to generate new revenue streams. Um, I mean, many financial institutions have clients that they don't have that level of sophistication, right? But they want that data. They need that data to make business decisions. And if you can provide that data, um, that that is an additional revenue stream for financial organizations. So I love where you're going with that.
Thank you. Yeah, banking really is shifting, and we need to think differently. It doesn't mean that we don't continue a lot of our customer relationships and connections, and that we do in community banking. But as we evolve business banking, and not only that, supporting our Gen Z generation, it's really important to think differently.
Hmm. That's so true. Yeah, all the generations think so differently.
They sure do.
Okay, so that's the greatest opportunity. What would you say is the greatest challenge for organizations that process payments?
Yeah, so this is something that I'm tackling today, in my current position. And I know many leaders in technology are focusing on, especially again in the banking and financial industry, is the tension between speed and safety. So on one hand, the market demands a rapid innovation. That the customer expects the instant payments that I talked about, digital first journeys and embedded experiences. But on the other hand, banks and fintechs must operate within strict regulatory frameworks. So heightened cybersecurity should be at the top of every mind, and definitely surrounding AI and data, and also increasing expectations for transparency and compliance. So, really, the balancing progress with governance is not easy. If you move too slow, you risk becoming irrelevant. If you move too quickly without the right safeguards, you expose yourself and your customer to fraud, compliance violations, and reputable damage. So, this is why I believe the future belongs to organizations that can build the secure, extensible platforms with compliance baked in and not bolted on. And those will achieve that balance, will have a lasting advantage in the industry for sure.
Yeah, that's so important, that balance. In payment circles, sometimes you hear faster payments, faster fraud, but it doesn't have to be that way, right? We know, we just talked about AI. We know fraudsters are going to be using AI as well, right? That's going to be one of
Absolutely.
their key tools. You just have to be prepared. You have to be nimble, and you have to have a very good fraud prevention plan and methodology in place. So that's where you get the benefits of the faster payments without the risk of faster fraud. So yeah,
Yes. Yes.
very good. All right. So, my favorite question, if you had to give our audience one silver bullet piece of advice, what would that be?
All right. If I had one piece of advice to offer, it would be this: treat payments as a strategic enabler, not just an operational function. So, for too long, payments have been that back office plumbing, a cost center rather than a driver of growth. but payments can be the heartbeat of the customer and partner interactions. So when you elevate them to a strategic level, you open doors to better customer experiences, richer data insights, and like I said, entirely new revenue models. So this particular means investing in the right partnerships, investing in leveraging data for intelligence, building API first, scalable, and secure solutions. So you're very quick, scalable. But also, organizations that take this mindset are going to adapt to those industry shifts I've talked about, serving their customers better, and then unlocking long term growth.
You are speaking my language. So we are often, putting together articles and talking about that mindset shift that you're discussing. That the back office it has traditionally been a cost center, but it can be a profit center. It has been sort of that necessary evil, sort of hidden more in the background, but it can be a true differentiator, right? If you're doing that right, it can really help your organization stand out, removing the friction and yeah, just meeting the customers where they're at, enabling the kinds of payments that they want to make. So yeah, it's definitely a mindset shift.
Mhm.
We're not talking about your old antiquated legacy batch systems in the back office anymore. The back office, the technology can be very innovative and like I said, a true differentiator. So I love
Absolutely.
what Core Bank's
Yeah.
doing. This is awesome.
It's good stuff. Good stuff.
And we're both right here in Omaha, Nebraska. So that's amazing.
Yes,
I've often thought of
absolutely. Yeah.
Omaha as being sort of a mini payments hub.
It is. And one thing I'm starting to see too, there are a lot of startups that are focusing because accounts receivable, for instance, is probably the biggest pain point of any organization, any company. So being able to make that a little streamlined, faster, reliable, and intelligent is key. And so core bank being able to really support those operations as well, and provide that foundation is very key in how we service our customers and our clients today. So it's really something that it's true to my heart, especially with my background in many different industries, especially logistics, transportation. This really is something that's very true to my heart.
That's great. Well, I would love to keep this conversation going. But I want to be respectful of your time, and I just thank you so much, Cecily, for your time today. And before I let you go, though, I do want to make sure that our audience knows how to maybe connect with you, and if they want to learn more about Core Bank and your services, what information would you like to share?
Yeah, thank you, Donna, so much for your time as well. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. I do share insights on technology, data, payments, and then the progress we're making in banking. You can also learn more about Core Bank, so I encourage you to visit corebank.com. We have a fabulous website, and it also will show you who our team is and the products and services that we provide our customers. But one thing I do want to share with the audience is a little bit about Core Bank, and our purpose is very simple. It's about building better, and that means building better experiences for our clients, building better tools for our employees, and also better outcomes for our communities, which is very key. It's about the community. We have values that I really strictly try to every day, resemble and lead by example. And that's being very collaborative, curious, empowered, genuine, nimble, and serve. And really guide how we work with our customers and partners every day. And we do believe in having fun while doing it, and that's the most important part. I always say that if you love what you do, it shows through your actions and through your outcomes. And really, our vision at Core Bank is to be very high performing. We are also focusing on being tech forward, solutions based, and consistently driving our shareholder return, which delivers successful outcomes for everybody. And these aren't just words; They're what drive our approach to payments, data, and partnerships. And, we want to be a bank that doesn't just keep up with the change, but we're also helping our clients to build better through it. So I am proud to say we're so much more than a bank.
That's great. And I actually do bank with Core Bank, by the way. Well, Cecily, I want to thank you so much for your time. Just really enjoyed hearing your insights, and like you said, you're speaking my language. So, and I know that our audience is going to appreciate your insights as well. So, thank you so much, and thank you everybody for joining us today. Bye
Thank
now.
you. Bye bye.